I will happily participate in releasing any further leaks that they have because the truth should be out there.
What she did and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie and used her PR people to try and just
imagine Marvel, the powerhouse behind the world's biggest superhero blockbusters, turning its legal firepower against one of Hollywood's most adored stars. Sounds impossible, right? Yet insiders claim that's exactly what's unfolding. Rumors are swirling that Marvel Studios has launched a lawsuit against Blake Lively, the actress celebrated for her glamorous red carpet appearances, sharp social media wit, and picture-perfect marriage to Ryan Reynolds, better known to fans as Deadpool himself. The whispers suggest this isn't just about contracts or studio politics, but a move so serious it could shake not only Lively's career, but also her golden couple brand with Reynolds.
So I really look at I love a challenge though, and I'm just so proud of every bit of it. We went through a whole roller coaster of the human experience, and I'm very proud.
If this feels like the wildest Hollywood twist of the year, that's because it just might be. One moment Blake Lively was quietly working on a new project with director Justin Baldoni, and the next, whispers erupted about leaked text messages, possible sabotage, and even rumors of sensitive intel linked to Marvel's closely guarded Deadpool archives. The question on everyone's mind is simple. How did things spiral so far, so fast? Could the star of The Shallows and A Simple Favor really have risked going toe-to-toe with Marvel's unstoppable machine? And if so, what could possibly drive her to it?
She have to fear if she's telling the truth. She wants us to believe this is actionable harassment.
Oh my gosh, we don't shut up.
And Emily and I have
The whirlwind of speculation surrounding Blake Lively has become impossible to ignore, and if even a fraction of the rumors prove true, the fallout could shake Hollywood to its core. Not only would it cast a shadow over one of the industry's most admired power couples, but it could also ripple into Marvel's billion-dollar Deadpool franchise, where secrecy and creative control are sacred. To make sense of this tangled saga, we have to rewind. It all began when Lively signed onto a film project led by Justin Baldoni, the director celebrated for heartfelt hits like 5 Feet Apart. Fans were thrilled at the pairing. His flair for romantic drama combined with her star power seemed like a recipe for box office gold. Yet behind the scenes, cracks soon appeared. Whispers claimed Lively began feeling creatively sidelined, with Baldoni not only directing but also co-writing and preparing for a cameo. According to insiders, Lively believed her vision for the film was being overlooked. She allegedly pushed for more influence over the storyline, wanting to highlight her character's complexities and bring fresh depth to the project. That creative tug-of-war, some say, was the spark that set the stage for the explosive rumors to come.
Tracking him down, and then finally got to read the script, and the script was a thriller. So that was a little confusing to me because he's like such a funny director.
Yeah.
And so I said, what is this? Because the script is definitely like a twisting, turning, intense thriller. Is it a comedy or a thriller? And he said, yes. So then every day on set, I was like, is today a comedy or is it a thriller?
It's a good mix
and
of both.
It's like really kind of over the top and campy and trashy and fun and kind of like my outfit.
Tension between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni didn't explode overnight. It simmered quietly, visible only through small cracks that gradually widened. Onlookers from the set described a shift, clipped remarks, delays in script approvals, and an unusual level of secrecy around certain rewrites. Whispers of discord grew louder when Blake hinted publicly that Justin might be behind unflattering tabloid stories, portraying her as difficult or overbearing. For many, this claim struck a chord. Hollywood has a long history of discrediting outspoken women by branding them as troublesome, and fans quickly rallied to her defense. But then Justin countered with receipts. He released what he said were text messages and email threads, painting a very different picture. According to his evidence, he wasn't the one pushing negative narratives. Rather, the communication suggested that Blake had allegedly threatened to pull strings with powerful industry contacts if her creative demands weren't taken seriously. What began as creative friction had suddenly spiraled into a public clash of narratives.
The way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walking, talking contradiction, yet it's perfectly harmonious.
Suddenly, the narrative shifted, and people began asking, was Blake Lively truly the victim, or was she the one pulling the strings? What had started as a typical Hollywood clash between actress and director quickly spiraled when an unexpected third party's name entered the mix: Marvel Studios. For months, the drama looked like little more than a familiar cycle of he said, she said. But then the rumors took an explosive turn. Certain tabloids began dropping juicy tidbits about Deadpool's future. Rumors of secret cameos, shocking plot twists, and even potential crossover appearances that Marvel usually guards with military-level security. Fans immediately wondered, who was feeding these leaks? The timing was suspicious. Each time Blake faced another wave of negative headlines about alleged on-set meltdowns, another inside scoop about Deadpool 3 surfaced. It began to feel like a game of ping-pong. Tabloid gossip bouncing between Blake's controversies and Marvel's highly anticipated blockbuster. Before long, all eyes turned to the obvious connection: Blake herself. After all, her husband Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool, and if anyone outside Marvel's inner sanctum had access to whispers about the project, it would be him, and, by extension, her. That's where things got serious. Marvel is notorious for protecting its intellectual property with an iron grip. Actors are given locked tablets, multiple fake scripts, and monitored sets, all to ensure nothing slips. The studio doesn't play around. So imagine their fury when headlines about Deadpool's top-secret storyline began leaking at the very moments Blake's own public controversies were exploding. To Marvel, this wasn't coincidence. It looked like sabotage.
Tease each other. He was, after I gave birth, he was like, oh my gosh, if I lost you and I, went to the park with our 3 kids, I mean, think of the ladies I could. He's like, this is a horrible thing to say. And he's like, I mean, I've got a long list. And I was like, oh, really? Because I just have one on my list.
Oh.
I didn't have anyone on my list.
And then it wasn't funny anymore.
No, it's so much more of a burn. He's like, wait, who? And I was like,
Tell me, he's guessing.
Think of someone.
Right.
Bob Newhart. I don't know.
Insiders claim Marvel's top brass quietly launched an internal investigation, determined to trace whether someone connected to the Reynolds Lively circle had been leaking Deadpool secrets at suspiciously convenient moments. At first, the theory sounded absurd. Why would Blake Lively risk sabotaging her husband's most lucrative franchise just to distract from her own bad press? Yet the whispers didn't die down. Instead, they snowballed, and soon enough, insiders suggested Marvel's legal department had enough circumstantial evidence to raise alarms. What followed was nothing short of jaw-dropping. Marvel, a studio known for ironclad NDAs but rarely for suing its own stars, allegedly took the unprecedented step of filing official legal action against Blake. The first hints appeared in a cryptic Marvel press release, referencing the unauthorized dissemination of proprietary information tied to a key franchise. No names were listed, but rumor mills exploded, claiming the unnamed individual was none other than Blake Lively. Overnight, the story dominated headlines. If Marvel was willing to legally challenge someone so close to Ryan Reynolds, the face of Deadpool and one of their biggest assets, things had to be far more serious than anyone imagined. This wasn't just about money. It was about brand protection. Deadpool had evolved from a gamble to one of Marvel's most bankable properties, and they relied on carefully timed reveals to build hype. If those reveals were being used as bargaining chips in the middle of personal controversies, Marvel viewed it as a direct threat. Blake's camp wasted no time firing back. They insisted she never had access to scripts or official outlines and branded the lawsuit as groundless scapegoating. Some even speculated Marvel was punishing her for clashing with director Justin Baldoni. But skeptics pointed out the leaked text messages from that feud, which portrayed Blake as strategic, calculating, and willing to play hardball when cornered.
And time again, she accuses him of doing something, which then when you hear the full context is an absolute nothing.
For years, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively have been the picture of Hollywood perfection. the charming power couple who mixed romance with humor, glamour with relatability. Fans adored their playful banter online, their coordinated red carpet moments, and the image of a marriage that seemed both enviable and unshakable. But when rumors surfaced that Marvel Studios, the very company that entrusted Reynolds with Deadpool, the role that revived his career and made him a household name, was taking legal action against Blake herself, the fairy tale cracked. Suddenly, a golden couple found themselves at the center of a storm that blurred the line between personal loyalty and professional survival. Imagine the tension from Ryan's perspective. Marvel isn't just another studio. It's his creative partner, the gatekeeper of a franchise worth billions, and the machine that allowed him to prove himself after years of box office misfires. Deadpool was his passion project, a film he fought to get made against all odds, and the success changed his life. Yet now, the woman being accused of leaking Marvel's most sensitive secrets, the kind of leaks that could damage the future of Deadpool and tarnish the brand, is his wife, the mother of his children, and his partner in all things. Where should his loyalty lie? With the empire he helped build, or with his family? At first, Ryan stayed true to form, keeping his trademark wit alive on social media. But when the headlines about Blake and Marvel grew louder, he went silent. For a man known for turning even awkward interviews into comedy gold, the lack of jokes was deafening. Some fans assumed he was gearing up to defend Blake in public. Others whispered that he might side with Marvel to protect his career. And a third camp believed he was simply frozen, desperately hoping the situation would resolve itself before he had to choose. Whatever the case, his silence became its own statement. This was no laughing matter. Meanwhile, poor Justin Baldoni, the director who had sparked the fire almost by accident, was reeling. All he had wanted was to clear his name after whispers suggested he'd been planting negative stories about Blake. To defend himself, he released private texts and emails showing he hadn't smeared her reputation. But that attempt at self-preservation ended up colliding with something much larger. Tabloids quickly began drawing lines between Blake's remarks about power circles, the suspicious Marvel leaks, and Baldoni's disclosures. Was he secretly in league with Marvel? Did he tip them off about a possible leak? Baldoni denied it all, insisting his only goal was to move forward with his film. Still, the timing made him look like the man who lit a match in a room already filled with gasoline. In interviews, Baldoni tried to keep it light, even joking that he'd never again send a co-star anything more personal than a happy birthday text in case it someday appeared in a lawsuit. But the truth was clear. A creative clash had mutated into a full-blown scandal that now involved one of the most powerful studios in the world. And then came the fans. Social media erupted into factions, each more vocal than the last. One side rallied around Blake, insisting she was being unfairly vilified. They pointed to Hollywood's long history of labeling ambitious women as difficult, whenever they demanded more control or respect on set. To them, Blake was another casualty of a patriarchal system designed to protect powerful men and sideline outspoken women. The other faction planted their flag with Marvel, declaring the studio would never risk suing anyone so close to Ryan Reynolds unless they had hard evidence. After all, Marvel's reputation for secrecy is legendary: scripts delivered on locked tablets, fake scenes shot to throw people off, actors sworn to silence under NDAs that read like national security contracts. If they believed Deadpool's secrets were being compromised, wasn't it logical to assume something real was at stake? Entertainment talk shows and gossip outlets feasted on the story. Questions swirled. Could Ryan lose his Deadpool crown if Marvel felt betrayed? Was the character so tied to him that recasting was impossible? Or could another actor don the red suit if the relationship fractured beyond repair? Fans debated endlessly. Some insisted Reynolds and Deadpool were inseparable. Others reminded everyone that no star is truly irreplaceable in Hollywood. Then came the issue of Blake's own career. She had built a reputation as a glamorous, versatile actress who could deliver both comedic timing and dramatic weight. She was also beloved for her effortless elegance and relatable persona. But if Marvel's allegations gained traction, her brand could be torpedoed overnight. Studios value one trait above all else: discretion. If an actor was suspected of leaking secrets, especially secrets tied to billion-dollar franchises, they would be seen as a liability, no matter their talent. Legal experts jumped into the fray, analyzing every angle of Marvel's supposed lawsuit. If the studio pushed forward aggressively, they explained, the discovery process could get ugly. Depositions, subpoenaed phone records, private texts, all of it could end up cataloged in public court files. That was the nightmare scenario for any celebrity couple, especially one as visible as Ryan and Blake. The mere possibility of private communications being scrutinized in public sent shivers through their circle. Some insiders suggested Blake might aim for a quiet settlement to avoid the worst. Hollywood thrives on hush-hush deals, agreements tucked away behind NDAs that prevent scandal from boiling over. Perhaps she could pay a fine, sign a binding promise never to disclose Marvel-related information again, and walk away with her dignity intact. Marvel, in turn, could drop the suit, claiming victory without dragging one of their own star families through months of litigation. But not everyone believed Marvel would let it slide so easily. For them, this wasn't just about one actress, it was about sending a message to the entire industry. The integrity of their secrecy machine had to be preserved at all costs. If even Ryan Reynolds' inner circle wasn't untouchable, then no one was. That kind of warning shot might deter anyone else tempted to test the studio's patience. And so, the saga deepened. Blake Lively, once praised as Hollywood's golden girl, was now fighting whispers that she had gambled too big, risking both her marriage and her reputation. Ryan Reynolds faced a loyalty test unlike any other. Justin Baldoni, caught in the crossfire, watched helplessly as his film project was overshadowed by scandal. And Marvel Studios, infamous for playing the long game, seemed poised to make an example out of someone who may or may not have leaked their most prized secrets. The question now isn't just who's guilty, but whether this power struggle will end with a quiet truce, or with one of Hollywood's brightest couples standing at the edge of an empire, wondering if it's all about to crumble. The public may never fully uncover the truth about what was really leaked, or whether anything of substance was leaked at all, but another possibility looms large. Perhaps Blake Lively feels she has been wrongly accused, and instead of retreating, she might choose to clear her name in an open court no matter the cost. If that happens, the spectacle could rival the drama of any Avengers finale. Imagine Marvel's top executives hauled into depositions, forced to reveal how they guard their scripts and storylines like state secrets. Picture Blake's legal team combing through server logs, demanding to know who had access and when. And then there's Ryan Reynolds, stuck painfully in the middle, potentially forced to testify under oath, torn between the studio that gave him his career-defining role and the woman who shares his home and his children. It's the kind of high-stakes drama that Hollywood itself could hardly script. At its heart, this controversy isn't only about one actress or one superhero franchise. It's a reflection of the fragile balance of power in Hollywood. Studios like Marvel operate with the discipline of intelligence agencies, fiercely protecting their intellectual property because the stakes are measured not in thousands, but in billions. A single ill-timed leak can derail years of carefully orchestrated planning. Every reveal is scheduled, every cameo kept secret until just the right moment. Their interconnected cinematic universe is an intricate machine where spoilers can trigger financial consequences across multiple films. And yet, on the other side of this machine are individuals, actors, directors, producers, each trying to protect their own careers, reputations, and public personas. When those competing interests collide, especially under the glare of scandal and rumor, the results can spiral out of control. If Marvel is truly prepared to hold Blake accountable for compromising Deadpool's secrets, it signals something bigger, that not even the spouse of their marquee star is untouchable if they threaten the brand. It sends a chilling message throughout the industry. Loyalty to the Marvel machine must outweigh personal relationships, reputations, and perhaps even marriages. At the same time, the fans who adored Blake from her Gossip Girl days or who loved her witty exchanges with Ryan on social media now find themselves conflicted. Is she the savvy manipulator that the rumors suggest, orchestrating narratives behind the scenes? Or is she simply a woman caught in the gears of an industry quick to smear ambitious female stars? And then there's Justin Baldoni, whose feud with Blake seems like the spark that lit this firestorm. His original clash with her over creative control of a film project now looks almost small compared to the Marvel-sized inferno that followed. Did he intentionally fan the flames that pushed attention toward Blake? Or did he simply try to defend himself, never realizing how far-reaching the consequences would be? Either way, his name is now tied to one of the strangest Hollywood sagas in recent memory for Disney and Marvel. The preference has always been to avoid public battles when possible. Despite their corporate muscle, they typically settle disputes quietly, sweeping messes under the rug rather than airing every detail for the world to see. That's why many industry watchers predict that this case will end not with a dramatic trial, but with a discreet settlement. Blake may want the same outcome, preferring to silence speculation rather than endure months of brutal scrutiny in the press. But even a quiet resolution carries its own risks. A sealed agreement or a hastily arranged deal will only intensify public curiosity. Fans will invent their own theories, and conspiracy-minded gossip outlets will fill in the blanks with their wildest imaginations. Oh, here we are, balanced on the edge of something that feels almost too surreal to be true. Marvel, the unstoppable studio juggernaut, potentially locked in battle with the actress married to their beloved Deadpool star. At the heart of it all are secrets, power plays, and questions of betrayal that have left fans reeling. Whether Blake is guilty of wrongdoing or not, the message is clear. No one in Hollywood is bulletproof, not even when married to a franchise's biggest face. The only unresolved question now is whether this will fade quietly behind closed doors or erupt into a courtroom showdown that could alter the future of Blake, Ryan, and Deadpool himself. Because when Marvel draws a line in the sand, the fallout can be as epic as any battle they've ever created on screen. If Blake really did cross that line, the bigger question becomes, can anyone escape unscathed when a juggernaut like Marvel decides to protect its empire? In the unpredictable world of Hollywood, sometimes the most shocking storylines aren't playing out on the big screen. They're unfolding in real time, exposing fragile loyalties, shaking reputations, and reminding us all just how powerful a brand like Marvel truly is.